The stars are right, and that means it's time for another episode of The Whisperer in Darkness. I'm your host, the Man from Lang. Thank you very much for joining me today. Hello, Arkham horror fans. This is your game of the day. Remember, you can get in on the fun and tell me which investigator and what scenario you would like me to play by heading over to surveymonkey.com and answering 3 quick questions. Do that, and I will do my best to record that playthrough for you. If you like this sort of content, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel a great deal. Before we get started, I'd like to thank the patrons of this channel who have gone above and beyond to bring you content like these playthroughs. If you'd like to support the channel and see your name on this list, head over to patreon.com, sign up for a tier of your choice, and claim your rewards. That would be awesome. Without further ado, let's play some Arkham Horror LCG. On today's Game of the Day, we are going to take a look at a Roland Banks deck that caught my eye over on Arkham DB. Let me give you a bit of the background. I've been looking for a Roland Banks deck to play recently, and I've been trying to build my own, and was just looking for something interesting to do with Roland, and so I was over on Arkham DB, and I found this deck by Solo Clue that caught my eye. Astounding Revelation Relic Roland. And the reason this deck caught my eye is that it uses level 0 disc of its Omna. Now, the disc is not a card that I have been used in very many decks. I don't think I've used it since basically the core set was released. And it's not a card that I really like. I find it, I've always felt like it's a bit slow, a bit expensive, and I've just never been a fan. So I was curious when I saw this deck by Solo Clue that used the disc as part of Roland's package. The idea here being is to thin out your deck with cards like Astounding Revelation and use Dr. Ellie Horowitz, which is an ally you don't typically associate with Roland Banks. Usually he goes for allies like the Beat Cop. To fetch the disc, and so when an enemy spawns, you use the disc to kill it, and of course that triggers Roland's reaction that you can grab a clue. So that interaction kind of piqued my curiosity. There's a bunch of other stuff in here that's quite interesting. Of course, we've got Practice Makes Perfect, which is a pretty good card for Guardians. Because there are so many cards with the Guardian cards with the practice trait. There are quite a few in this deck. So again, the idea is to be, there's 3 copies of Astounding Revelation, of course. And so there are lots of ways to trigger that using cards like the Disc of Its or Dr. Ellie Horowitz to search your deck. And hopefully you'll find some Astounding Revelation. There are cards like Practice Makes Perfect, which can search your deck for cards with the practice trait, and Prepared for the Worst, which lets you search your deck for weapons. So a way to generate resources, which has always been a bit of a weakness of the Guardian class. They're quite good when it comes to combat, but they have a lot of expensive assets, which means it can be quite hard to sometimes get those assets into play. And of course, we've also got, as far as weapons go, we've got the 45 automatic and the Enchanted Blade, and Roland's signature asset. So yeah, this deck, it piqued my interest. Now, I have played this deck before. I took it up against Beyond the Gates of Sleep, and how do I put this nicely? The deck did not perform particularly well. Now, I think that is not necessarily the deck's problem. I think that Beyond the Gates of Sleep is not a particularly good scenario for this particular deck, simply because this deck leans heavily into Roland's reaction to discover clues by defeating enemies. And of course, you probably know that Beyond the Gates of Sleep, you don't draw encounter cards for half the scenario. So that really slowed poor Roland down quite a bit. And he struggled to get down the stairs. And then when we finally did get to the Enchanted Woods, believe it or not, we never saw an enemy the whole game. So a lot of poor Roland's tech was not in play in that game. And the deck, that was probably the most difficult playthrough I've had of that scenario. Usually I do pretty well in that one, and it did not do very well. So, but I am chalking that up to the scenario, not necessarily the deck. So we're going to give it another try here on Game of the Day. And we are going to pit it against, initially I was going to play against normal extracurricular activity with the idea of seeing how it does in the first few scenarios. If I'm enjoying the gameplay, perhaps we'll turn it into a campaign. Solo Clue has provided in his write-up over at Arkham DB, I'll leave a link to the deck in the description, some advice on upgrading. Cards, of course, like Stick to the Plan, which lets you trigger Astounding Revelation right off the bat, as well as the upgrading the Enchanted Blade. Picking up cards like, ideally the deck wants to get into Segment of Onyx, so you can get the Pendant of the Queen, and also picking up cards like Surprising Find, so you can thin out your deck even more. Now, based on the information that was on the deck in Arkham DB, this is built for the taboo list that was released in 2019, not the one that was released last year. Of course, the one last year added I believe it was 3 XP to the segments. So I believe it's 4 XP for the segments. So this is 2019 taboo when the segments are just their regular cost. So we'll see how it goes. Initially, I was going to play regular extracurricular, but I've played that so many times. We're going to go to the Return to version and see how this deck does. We are set up and ready to go in Octagon. So let's flip over and get this game underway. So here we are. We did our random draw between Warren Observatory and Orin Library. We ended up with the Orin Library, so no big difference there. Roland, of course, starts over here at Miskatonic Quad, and we will see how he does. I'm curious to see. This deck has really intrigued me, and let's see how it does. So we need to draw a weakness. So let's shuffle those up. Weakness is, no, it cannot be your worst nightmare. That is multiplayer only. It's going to be internal injury. So internal injury, of course, is the put it into play. At the end of your turn, take a direct damage. Take 2 actions to discard internal injury. Of all the weaknesses, not a bad one. Roland's got 9 health, so not too worried about that. Of course, the big weakness in Roland's deck is Cover Up. Man, that thing can be a real thorn in Roland's side. So we'll see if we can deal with it in this game. We're ready to draw our opening hands. Pretty much everything is standard. There's a few additions into the encounter deck, of course, because we're playing Return to. But let's draw our opening hand and see how we do. So, opening hand, we get Disc of Itzamna, we get Glory, Astounding Revelation, Prepared for the Worst, and Astounding Revelation. Wow, what a awful hand to start off the game with. I think we're going to mulligan everything but the Prepared for the Worst, because at least that can get us a weapon. So we're drawing 4 cards. We get a Practice Makes Perfect. We get Take the Initiative. We get a 45 automatic and a Perception. So a better hand, but no Dr. Ellie Horowitz in order to grab ourselves the disc. So we shall see. Of course, Dr. Ellie mitigates one of the big issues I have with the disc, and that it is its cost. She gets it for free. So let's see what we can do here. We have a weapon, which is good. We have a couple of skills, which are good. We can get ourselves another weapon if we want, and potentially trigger an Astounding Revelation, which would be nice to get us some extra resources. So we are starting, of course, at Miskatonic Quad. 3 Shroud locations, 0 clues, and it just has the action Resign. We'll gain our 3 actions. So how do we want to do this? Do we want to go for the... if we take our first action, I don't want to stay at the quad if I can help it, because staying at the quad, if we end up getting a barrier or something like that there, man, you need to go through the quad so many times in this game that it can be a real pain in the butt. So I feel like what we can do, maybe what we do is play the 45 automatic, go down to the humanities building, investigate there using practice makes perfect to try to find our second copy of perception. That might be a plan. Otherwise, we also have a perception and a take the initiative. Of course, take the initiative is not going to do us much good. So let's play the gun first. That's going to set us back 4 resources. And we will move down to the humanities building. 3 shroud location with 2 clues. At the end of your turn, if you are in the humanities building, discard the top X cards of your deck, where X is the amount of horror on you. We have no horror, so we're good. We want to investigate here. 3v3. So we have the option of going practice makes perfect or going perception. I'd kind of like to go practice makes perfect just to see if we can get an astounding revelation out of the deal. So we'll search the top 9 cards for a practice skill. It's kind of risky, but we'll give it a shot here. We do not find a practice skill. No practice skill. Oh, we do find a practice skill, but we can't commit it to the skill test. That's fine. So, but we do find an astounding revelation. We found 2 of them, in fact. So we will trigger that. We will gain a couple of resources. Not a particularly good trade, but we're going to end up with 3 resources next turn. So I guess that's better than nothing. We can... now we can commit, just let me make sure, timing. Yeah, timing's okay. We can commit the perception. So we're going to go 5v3 for a clue. Let's see how we do. Chaos Bag says -1. So we do get a clue. And we do get a card. Which is, I don't think I shuffled my deck. That's probably why we drew our weakness right off the bat. And we get glory. Okay, so after we defeat an enemy, we can draw a couple cards. That's very nice. Now we just need to draw some enemies. That is the key here. First turn is in the bag. We draw a vicious blow. We go up to 3 resources, so we've got some options. We could try prepared for the worst to get another weapon. Or we can just grab this clue. We're going to be a little bit slow. We're going to be slowed down at Orn Library. But we need that VP because the plan ultimately here is to upgrade to stick to the plan. And so we will need all the VPs we can get. And of course, the Dunwich Legacy is pretty miserly when it comes to VPs. So we're drawing our first encounter card of the game. We get a Baleful Welcome, a peril. Choose 2 of the following actions: investigate, fight, evade, move, or play. For the remainder of the round, each investigator cannot perform each chosen action. If this is not the first copy of Baleful drawn in this phase, choose 3 of those actions instead. Well, we will choose fight and evade. And that pretty much deals with that card. So we can't fight or evade this turn. Excuse me. But we weren't planning to anyway. Let's get our 3 actions. I think what we can do is we will investigate again using Take the Initiative. So we have, that will be our 3 actions, or we get, it's our first action, so we get 3 wild skill icons. So we're going 6v3. Chaos Bag throws us a -3. Ooh, good thing we had that Take the Initiative. Otherwise, we would have failed that skill test. But we do get that final clue. Let's move up to Orn Library. 3 Shroud location, 1 clue. We have to spend an additional action to investigate at the Orn Library. That's a bit of a bear. But we do have Glory that has 2 intellect skill icons. So hopefully we could go 5-3. But we can't do that this turn. So I think what we're going to do, let's throw a Prepared for the Worst out there. We'll try to get another... we will try to get another astounding revelation. Search top 9. Look at top 9. We whiff on the astounding revelation, but we do find an enchanted blade that we can take into our hand. And I will remember to shuffle my deck this time. I always forget to shuffle my deck when I am searching in Octagon. So that's going to be our turn. Next turn, hopefully we can land that. I mean, we're armed. We've got an enchanted blade, an automatic on the table, and a vicious blow in hand. So if we draw an enemy, that would be ideal right now. The deck does include On the Hunt to search for an enemy in the encounter deck, which would come in quite handy, but we haven't seen that yet. We pick up a second copy of Glory. That's nice because we are planning to commit one of them to a skill test next turn. So having a second one is handy. 2 of 7 Doom, turn 2 or turn 3. My light is getting in my way of my vision here. Turn 3, we draw Infinite Doorway attached to your location. As an additional cost to move into or out of attached location, discard the top card of your deck. If the discarded card is a weakness, draw it. Otherwise, for each copy of the discarded card in your hand play area, you must either take 1 horror or discard that card. Ouch. Of course, I believe this is a replacement for the Arcane Barrier. So we are going to get our 3 actions and investigate. We're going to commit a Glory. So we're going 5v3. Chaos Bag says Cultist. That's a -1, -5 instead. If there are 10 or more cards in my discard pile, there is only 5. So we pass. We grab this clue. That actually took us 2 actions to do. Fortunately, we only used the 1 Glory, which is good. Now, we're going to have to move out of here. We're going to have to discard the top card of our deck. Okay, so discarding top card. It's an astounding revelation. So that's I don't think that has any effect whatsoever. Yep. All right. So that's good. We move back to the quad. I think actually we can advance, so let's do that as well. Of course, we've got to find our buddy. It's been a while actually since I have played this scenario. We shuffle the encounter discard pile and the set aside Jazz Mulligan into the encounter deck. This is a location, so this is the encounter deck here. Shuffle into encounter deck, and we go find Jazz. And we have Jazz there. So we shuffle him into the deck, and that's going to be that. All right, we're on Act 2A. Rice's whereabouts. Spend 1 clue. Discard the top 5 cards of the encounter deck. Top 10 instead if there is 1 player in the game. And once we get Jazz, we can try to take control of him. So that, no enemies still. We haven't seen... There's Dr. Ellie. All right, well, maybe we'll get to see Dr. Ellie and the disc in action here. So we've got Ellie, the Enchanted Blade, Glory, and Vicious Blow heading into turn 4. For our encounter card in turn 4, we draw Light of Aphargomon. Peril, you must attach light to either the current agenda or the current act. Treat all damage and direct damage. Treat all damage and horror as direct damage and horror. Which one do we want to put it on? Probably the act. I suspect we're going to advance the act before we advance the agenda, so we can do that. We gain our 3 actions back. Let's move down to the Students' Union building. 1 shroud location with 2 clues. And when, after the Students' Union is revealed, we put the set-aside dormitories into play, though, of course, we cannot go there until we grab our buddy Jazz here. So the dormitories come into play. All right. That's all we have to do. So I guess we'll just do some investigating here. We're going to go 3v1. 3v1 for a clue. Chaos Bag gives us an Elder Sign. That's a +1 for each clue, so that's a +2. Not that we needed it. So we'll grab a clue there. And let's do it again. 3v1. That is a cultist, -1, -5 if there are 10 cards. There are still only 7 cards in my discard pile, so we grab... that was -1? Yeah. All right, so we grab 2 clues. A good turn, keeping our tempo up, which is important because we want to swing back through Miskatonic Quad to the administration building, and then we want to deal with the... whatever, I can't remember, the office. The office over here that spawns when we move through the administration building, and then we want to come back and rescue the students and finish it off that way. We end up drawing our second 45 automatic. So we can get... we can probably get Ellie down next turn and take 2 actions to search for Jazz. It is the Mythos phase of turn 5. Encounter card is going to be a second Light of Aphargomon. It has to go on the agenda deck. I think that's a first. I don't think I've ever played a game where I've had 2 copies of Light of Aphargomon in play. Of course, yeah, they don't really stack, so I guess we're going to have Light of Aphargomon in play until we, for the foreseeable future. Now, unfortunately, we still haven't drawn an enemy, and this deck leans pretty heavily on, based on my past game with it, it leans pretty heavily into triggering Roland's response, and we have not seen an enemy yet. Let's play Ellie. We might as well try to get this, see if we can get this rolling. So after she enters play, we search the top 9 cards for a relic. Let's see if we can find a disc. We do get a disc, but no, we do not find. Ooh, cover up was the next card. Next card in our deck was cover up. So we do get the disc, and make sure we shuffle. We don't want that cover up coming. So we attach the relic to her, so we get it for free, and doesn't take up any slots. So now this is a Disc of Itzamna level 0 that was released in the Harvey Walters starter deck. It's basically power level wise, it's about the same as the level 2, I believe, upgrade for it. The level 2 upgrade simply discards the enemy, so it's obviously a bit better than this. But this one, I mean, automatically evading the enemy or dealing 2 damage to it can be functionally equivalent if, you know, you get the right enemy. So we aren't losing too much in the level 0 version. That was first action. Second action, we're going to go spend a clue and try to get our buddy here. So we discard the top 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, no jazz in that. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There he is. 9, 10. All right. So we got the ideal result. We managed to get jazz without having to go to either the science building or admin building to grab another clue. Now it's just a matter of passing the parlay test with him. Parlay test 3, intellect, to take control of him. So that will be our next order of business next turn. Oh, damn. We shuffled our deck and ended up with drawing an astounding revelation. So, of the 3 in our deck, we only triggered one of them. We ended up discarding one and drawing the other. So, not ideal, but it does have an intellect skill icon, so we can commit that to our skill test against Jazz next turn, and hopefully that will be enough to get him on our side so we can head over to the office. It is turn 6. Our encounter card, 5 of 7 Doom. Encounter card is going to be another infinite doorway. Oh. That is, well, positioning wise, I'm not thrilled with that. But because we're going to have to come back through here at least once more. However, right now it's not doing anything. So we're going to try to get Jazz on our side. We'll commit a glory and an arcane research. So we're going 6v3. Chaos Bag says -2. Jazz is our buddy. Jazz joins this merry band. Joins the archaeology professor. Or is she the assistant curator? She's the assistant curator. Yeah, when I was doing my my On Your Own video for my Lucky Penny Preston deck, I completely forgot Dr. Ellie Horowitz's name. I totally blanked on it. All right, well, we're going to move. We have to deal with this infinite doorway. So as an additional cost to move out, it's into or out of. So we're going to trigger that twice coming back through here. So we're going to discard a card on the hunt. That would have been nice to have. but it doesn't do anything. We don't have a copy in our hand or play area, so no big deal. So we move back to Miskatonic Quad. That's why I'm really glad we were these infinite doorways didn't end up on the quad. I know I've had games where you end up with like the arcane barrier or the infinite doorway on the quad, and it's just turns into a nightmare. We're headed off to the admin building. 4 shroud location 1 clue when it's we put the faculty offices into play, so we'll do that. Faculty offices, since we're playing extracurricular first, the night is still young. And that is that. Now, at the end of your turn, if you're in the admin building, discard the top card of your deck. So we're going to have to do that. I don't think we need this clue. Oh, we got to advance too. I forgot here. Let's advance. Before I forget, we grabbed Jazz. So if the Alchemy Labs location is not in play, put it into play. We'll go get that. Alchemy Labs comes into play. I've been playing so many Bless and Curse decks lately that it seems odd not to be adding Bless and Curse tokens to the bag, but this particular deck doesn't include that sort of tech. So we do that. If you have completed the House Always Wins, put the set-aside alchemical concoction into play. If extracurricular is the first scenario, we remove it, so nothing happens. Okay, and the Light of Aphra-Gomon actually goes away. Might have actually gone away earlier. I just forgot to discard it. So this goes away. So now it's campus safety. Find and complete an objective on another encounter card. So our goal here, of course, is to go to faculty offices, grab ourselves a VP there, or 2, and then head back to dormitories and get the students out. I don't think we need any more clues, so we will not bother with this clue here, but we will have to discard this card. Discard the top card of your deck. Come on, be cover up. It's practice makes perfect. All right. No enemy. Still haven't seen an enemy. I think we're going to get one next turn for sure, at least. So we get to take the initiative. So our hand is right now 45 automatic, Enchanted Blade, Vicious Blow, and a Take the Initiative. So nice hand, got lots of weapons. We've got a 45 automatic on the table and a Disc of Itzamna waiting. So if we do happen to spawn anything, we're going to hit it pretty hard. 6 of 7 Doom. Turn 7. Counter card is Secret Door, attached to the location with the most investigators and without a secret door attached. Investigators cannot leave this location. I don't think I've ever drawn this card before. So we attach this to the location. We can't leave. We have to test 3 willpower or 3 intellect to find the way out. That's kind of a cool thematic card. I like that one. It's a pain in the butt, but I like it. All right, so we need to figure out the secret door. We're 3 willpower or 3 intellect, so let's commit, take the initiative. Doesn't matter which way we do it. Let's go intellect, so we're going 6v3. Chaos Bag throws us a 0. So the secret door turns out to be a minor annoyance at most. We move into the faculty offices. A 2 shroud location with 2 clues. After it is revealed, we search the encounter deck and discard pile for a humanoid enemy and spawn it here. Shuffle the encounter deck. If the investigators... So we can actually spend 2 clues here if we want to complete this. game, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go back and deal with the students. We've got lots of time at this point. And so we need a humanoid, and I think I know which humanoid we want. Is it from the discard pile or encounter deck? So let me look in the discard pile first, because I think we want the wizard. If he's, I can't remember if the wizard is still in this version. Be nice if he was, because I'd like to. The disc is going to come in handy here, because we can, as soon as we spawn it, we can tag it with the disc for 2 damage. I think the wizard is in this. I can't remember. There are so many scenarios in this game now that there he is. Welcome back, wizard. All right, so the wizard spawns. We will discard the disc if it's is he non-elite? He is non-elite. So yeah, we will discard the disc to deal him 2 damage, which is good because he's got 3 damage. 3 damage, he's got 3 health, so he's going to take 2 damage the moment he hits the table. And now we have 1 action left, so we can shoot him. We are 4-5v4. 5v4. I think we can probably commit the enchanted blade. So we will use the gun. So we're going 4, 5, 6 v4. We're going to commit the vicious blow to go 7 v4. We're going to really kill this guy. Actually, do we need to discard the disc? We don't really need to, do we? I'm going to go back. I'm going to take that back because in hindsight, I mean, we have enough stuff. We're going to commit all these cards anyway, so we might as well save the disc for a rainy day. We don't need to deal the 2 damage to him since we're going to hit him for 3 here. Probably. But who knows? 4, 5, 6, 7 v4 for 3 damage. Chaos Bag throws us a -5. How did I know that was going to happen? And yes, I am playing on hard. That's the only way you get a -5. So yeah, we fail that, unfortunately. The wizard is going to attack us during the enemy phase. So maybe discarding the disc would have been a good idea now, since we're going to be in a fight with this guy. So we're going to take a damage. And we'll spread the horror around to Ellie, and we still have the disc. We can discard it, and we're going to need 2 shots to get this guy. But that may come back to haunt us. We'll see. I thought we had enough without the disc, but of course we did not count on drawing a -5. 7, we are advancing. Light of Aphra-Gomon is going to go away. So each investigator with 5 or more cards in his discard pile takes 1 horror. So we're going to take 2 horror because we have more than 10. So that's out. That hurts. And we just advance to the next agenda. We draw an encounter card, which is going to be a thrall. Let's nuke the thrall with the... We're going to do that this time. We'll kill the thrall with the disc so we're not dealing with 2 enemies. All right, Roland. We're going 5v4. That's really bad odds, but we don't have much choice. We get a 0, so that's good. The first shot deals 2 damage. Second shot, 5v4. No, we didn't draw a hex, so the guy doesn't trigger. We get a -2, so that misses. Let's do it again. 5v4, last shot. Fortunately, I don't have anything else in my hand. And we get a -1, so he is dead. Thank goodness. Actually, and I forgot, can we trigger limit once per round? So we can grab a... We're going to get a clue. We killed the thrall, but it's once per round anyway, so we killed this guy. So we will grab a clue with Roland's ability. Okay, so now we just need to grab one more clue and then get the hell out of here. We have a little bit of horror soak, but not a ton. We draw a crack the case. That'll get us a couple resources once we clear this location, but otherwise not going to do us much good. It is turn 9. I'm having trouble seeing today. It's turn 9. 1 of 3 doom. I believe this limits our... Each investigator's hand size is reduced by 3, so we're at 5. We can just drop that down there so we remember. Encounter card. Whippoorwills. Okay. Our first whippoorwills. Unfortunately, the disc would have been nice to kill the whippoorwills, but we didn't need to deal with multiple enemies there. Do we have enough to deal with this location? We're at 3. We can go 4-5. 5v2. But then we go down to 4v2 because of the whippoorwills. We don't need the resources with Crack the Case, so I'm going to commit that. Let's go. So we're going to go. We're at 3 due to the whippoorwills. 4, 5, 6. 6v2. Chaos Bag throws us a 0. So we grab that second clue and we get a card. We get another disc. I say we move twice. Do we move twice or play another gun? Yeah, let's move twice. All right, that's a bit of a risk, but I want to get out of the. I want to get away from the whippoorwills as much as I can, while I can still do that. So the whippoorwills will hunt over to the admin building during the enemy phase. During the upkeep phase, we draw internal injury. So we're going to have to get rid of that or take damage. I may just take the damage, honestly, because we don't need to slow down. Let's draw a card Beyond the Veil. There we go. Of course, that classic. We take 10 damage once we have no cards in our deck and it surges into a second Beyond the Veil. But there is a Beyond the Veil, so we can't worry about that. And we get a Thrall. Alrighty. We're going to have to move into that location, which is a bit rough. So we kill the Thrall. Punch the Thrall in the face, 4v2. Skull, that's a -2. So we hit it. Whoops, wrong token. Let's do it again. -3 that time, so we miss. And let's do it again. -2, and so we kill the Thrall. We're going to take a damage, direct damage from our weakness. We did not make it. The thrall slowed us down, unfortunately, but that's okay. Next turn, we get to crack the case. That's not overly helpful right at the moment. And we go to the Mythos phase. It is turn 11. We are advancing. We put the dormitories in play. If the experiment is in play, move it one location to the spawn it at the science building. The abomination or the experiment has arrived, and he is at the science building. Not much chance we're going to be able to kill him. We could try, but we're sort of low on cards at the moment, which isn't great. And that's that. And of course, we draw an encounter card. Resurgent Evil, you must either draw the top 2 cards of the encounter deck, place 1 Doom on the current agenda. This can cause it to advance. We'll add a Doom, because that's fine. We don't need to draw extra encounter cards. It is our turn. We have to move in here and trigger the infinite doorway. So, for each copy of the discarded card in your hand or play area, you must either take 1 horror or discard that card. So we discard a card. It's the Hallowed Mirror. That has no effect. We move again. We discard Ellie. So we either take a horror or discard Ellie. It's the same either way. She was going to take the horror for us anyway. So we move into the dormitories. 1 shroud location, 3 clues. If we spend 3 clues, we get R2 and a victory point. These guys should be here. Oh shoot, did I screw this up because of the stupid whippoorwills again? No, I think we're okay. I think the whippoorwills moved. I moved here. We drew a thrall. We fought the thrall. The whippoorwills moved here. We drew that card. We moved down. Okay, we're fine. Man, give me a bloody heart attack there. I thought, oh, not again. I forgot the whippoorwills. All right, we have 1 action. I'm going to get a weapon. I want to have a gun out just in case. We actually can keep that gun. We need only 1 clue. I want this victory point though, so we'll investigate next turn. We get our Roland 38 special, which actually would be pretty nice right about now. So when we reach, we remove all doom, and the experiment moves. This moves here during the enemy phase, last turn. And we draw an encounter card. Oh, we took a damage from our weakness. Let's get all the triggers. We draw the Vassal of the Lurker. Hunter, at the end of the enemy phase, each investigator at the Vassal of the Lurker's location. So we engage him. Man. We can kill him. I'm not too worried about that. Well, I am worried about it. I don't want to be sitting around here for much longer. I'd like to grab these. I need at least 1 clue in order to resign. But I can also try to kill this guy. So let's shoot. 5v3. We might as well commit the gun to go 7v3. Chaos Bag says skull. That's a -2, and we didn't fail. Getting kind of low on cards. That Beyond the Veil is looking pretty dangerous. We deal 2 damage to this dude. Second action, we shoot again. 5v3. Come on, let's just kill him. That's a that's a -5. So that is a failure. Let's shoot him again. What's he gonna do to us? 1 and 1. -2. So he is dead, and he goes to the victory display. We take another damage from our weakness. And we go to the enemy phase. The whippoorwills show up. And oh, we killed an enemy, so we get a clue. Don't forget that trigger. Oh, damn it. Son of a. Oh. We draw cover up. This is why Roland is one of the worst investigate. He has one of the worst weaknesses. Man, we're gonna have to spend. We're at the right location for it at least. But I don't want to take any more turns. So we put cover up into play with 3 clues on it. We need to make 3, we need to grab 3 clues. Maybe next action we grab the whippoorwills, shoot the whippoorwills down, grab a clue to get rid of 1 on cover up, and remove the whippoorwills so it's easier to get clues. It is turn 13. Encounter card is Eager for Death, test 2. Oh dear. Difficulty is +1 for each damage, so that's going to be test 3v6, or take 2 horror. Looks like we're taking 2 horror. Yeah, we get 3v6, and so we take 2 horror. Thanks for playing, Jazz. Jazz takes 1 and we take 1. Okay, now we've got... Shoot. What a bad... It's just bad timing to draw a cover up so late when you're completely unable to use it. I'm worried about the skull. Because that'll discard 5 cards. Is it better to... It's probably better to go down... If we lose this game, it's better to lose to the Beyond the Veil since we take a physical trauma than... But we don't want to take 2. We're at 3. We'd be at 2v1. Oh man, this is tough. And we only have 1 shot. We'd be at 5v2. No. We'd be at 4v2. Well, shit. We have the clues to quit. We can spend 3 clues and quit right now. And the thing that I'm worried about right now is that because we only have 5 cards, we have 6 cards left in our deck. We're going to draw 1 during the upkeep. If we spend another turn here, and then say we pull a bad encounter card that forces us to test, and we draw a cultist, or no, a skull. If we get a bad pull and we draw a skull, we'll have to discard the top 5 cards of our deck, and then we would be we would die to Beyond the Veil, and we'd take a physical trauma and a mental trauma, which isn't good. And I don't think there are enough clues at our location now to deal with cover-up. What bad timing. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do about it, so it looks like we're taking a mental trauma, which sucks. But there are no clues here to discover to trigger. Or I think maybe we can trigger it. When you would discover 1 or more clues at a location, discard that. I'm just going to check that quickly. I want to make sure I'm playing that right. I can always just I will check this, and I'll just cut out the results here while I do some looking here. Okay, yeah, so we're okay. We just need to, we don't need 3 clues on the location. We just need to investigate 3 times. So we can go 3v1. We're going to try to get rid of cover-up. 3v1 because of the whippoorwills. We get a -4. Okay. Now we're just going 2 versus 1, and we can't clear it this turn. Or we engage Shoot the Whippoorwill. Engage Shoot the Whippoorwill. That gets us a clue that we could get rid of that. Yeah, I'm going to risk it. I don't want to take a mental trauma, so I'd rather try to get rid of it. I'm going to engage the Whippoorwill, and I'm going to try to shoot it. So I'm going 4v2. 4v2. Chaos Bag says 0, so the Whippoorwill dies. We discover a clue, so we remove 1 clue from cover-up. Do we think we can make it through another Mythos phase? That's the trick. We're going to take another damage. This could be bad, but we're gonna run the risk. We get a guts. Okay, that's something. Turn 14, so the experiment is moving here. And we draw an encounter card, which is a Resurgent Evil. Draw the top 2 cards of the encounter deck, or place 1 Doom on the current agenda. We place a Doom. Okay, so we got a turn. We got lucky. Why am I trying to do that? Come on. All right. So it's do or die this turn. We need to successfully investigate twice and then resign. We're not going to get this VP. That is fine. We got a surprise VP from the vassal guy, so we're basically ending up where I want to be anyway. We only have 5 cards left in our deck. We're going to go 3v1. So we're safe from the skull. Chaos Bag throws us a 0. So that's another clue off cover-up. 3v1. That is a -5. Come on. Last chance. 3v1. Oh, come on, game. -4. Son of a... Well, we did our best. Unfortunately, we need to resign, and we're going to take a mental trauma. Son of a... I hate cover-up so much. Drawing it this late in the game is such a huge thorn in your side. It's just so difficult to deal with. But we did give it a shot. We just didn't draw the tokens we needed. We didn't really have the hand we needed either to pull it off. So we will just... we will use the objective on... Trigger the objective to spend 3 clues. And that's game. So... Well, that was a game. It was entertaining. It was an entertaining game. Unfortunately, Roland once again succumbs to Roland's weakness, which is cover-up. It's fine. It's usually not too bad to deal with if you can draw it early enough. Unfortunately, I drew it right at the end of the game and simply ran out of time to deal with it. What would have happened if I dealt with the next 2 cards? Oh, that would have killed me. So, yeah, if I had not placed that Doom, I would have drawn Visions of Futures Past, and that would have killed me for sure. And I would have ended up with a physical and mental trauma. So, hindsight being what it is, we dodged a little bit of a bullet there. Well, that was Astounding Revelation Relic Roland by Solo Clue. The deck did a lot better this time, even though we hardly saw any enemies throughout the game. It was only toward the latter half of the game when we reached the faculty offices. We got we had to draw the Wizard of the Order, or the Wizard of Yog-Sothoth, sorry. We drew him. And then we drew the Thrall and the Whippoorwills. But then we didn't. We drew another Thrall up on Miskatonic Quad, which didn't help us. And then, we didn't see the enemies. We didn't see any enemies down in the dormitories, except the Whippoorwills, which chased us, which we did manage to kill. And we got 2 clues off of cover-up, tantalizingly close. Unfortunately, had we drawn another encounter card, we would lose probably the top 5 cards of our deck and die. We were also going to lose the game the next Mythos phase due to the experiment. So we had to resign. Yeah. So I think the deck did a lot better this time. We did pull off the combo of now I'm blanking on her name again. Dr. Ellie Horowitz and Diskovitz Omna. That did work out. So it was nice. We had a bit of a, do we or don't we when the wizard spawned to trigger it. I think in the end, we just got a bit unlucky there because we drew a -5. We should have killed the wizard in one shot. Unfortunately, it took us a little longer. So yeah, we man, cover up comes back to get me one more time. How many times has that card ruined one of my Roland plays? So we're taking a mental trauma, unfortunately. We will probably have to figure out some way of boosting Roland's. We're going to need to maybe get some more. I think Ellie's the only ally in this deck, so maybe we need more. Just to soak the horror, because we're going to be at four sanity going into the next scenario. Let's count up our VPs. So we got 1 from the Vassal, 1 from the Wizard. We got 1 from the Library. Nothing that we missed the 1 at the dormitories, unfortunately. And we got 1 at the faculty offices for a total of 4. We need 6 to get stick to the plan. That's what we want. And then segment is going to cost us another 1. So we need 7. So 4 is a good start. I think we can probably pick up 3 more when we play House Always Wins, and we will. That'll give us stick to the plan and the segment. But of course, we're going to be already playing with our hands tied behind our back with that one mental trauma. So I hope that you enjoyed today's game of the day. Thanks to Solo Clue for building the deck. It was I've played a couple games with it now. The first one didn't work out too well, but this one was entertaining. I hope you were entertained. If you're interested in playing Solo Clue's deck or taking a look at it, I highly recommend you head over to Arkham DB. I will post a link to the deck in the description down below. Make sure that you fill out the survey over at SurveyMonkey to tell me which investigator in which scenario you would like to see me play here on Game of the Day, and I will do my best to bring that to you. We will be back with another game tomorrow. Cross our fingers. We'll see how long we can keep this Game of the Day thing going. But I should be back tomorrow with another game, and I hope that you will tune in then. Until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day, and take care out there. That's going to do it for this episode. If you enjoyed what you hear, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you need to contact me, I can be reached at manfromlang@gmail.com. I'm also on Twitter at manfromlang. Until the stars are right, keep your shotgun close and your elder sign closer. Take care out there, and happy investigating.